Okay. Right. Let's see if anyone joins us. Hello to anyone who's watching. So I imagine that'll be Sam. Just a little bit of drink of Ribena while we're waiting. Right. Is anyone chatting to me? While we're waiting for anyone else to join us, let's see if anyone knows the answer to this. Okay. I'm going to do a scouting knot. Right over left and under. Left over right and under. Okay. Can anyone tell me what this fantastic and super famous knot is? Anybody? Nothing coming through on my live chat. Maybe in a minute they will. We're going to try it again in a minute. It's the same knot that is on this super famous scouting badge that all scouts wear. The World Scout badge. There's that knot there. Going to try this once more. Okay. I've got one offer for the knot. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'm going to try it once more. We've been practicing it at Cubs. So it's right over left and under and left over right and under. There we have it. It's a super useful knot. And Archie definitely got it right. It is the reef knot. It's a great knot. And next time, if I can manage to sort out the video sooner rather than later, rather than wasting your time, for which I apologize, we're going to do another couple of knots. And I'll tell you why we're going to do a couple of knots, because although Scouts is famous for doing or wasting its time doing knots, there are 2 or 3 knots that are very worth learning in life. The reef knot, I have used it hundreds of times in my life. Right over left and under, left over right and under, bang. It is a super useful thing in life. And there are 1 or 2 other, probably another 2 knots that are worth learning. So I am going to do these, or I'm going to get a young assistant to do these in our videos in the future, because these videos you'll be able to rewatch. Not this one. I'm going to delete it. I'm not having you. We're not rewatching this in the near future. Definitely not. Anyway, that is the reef knot. Right over left and under, left over right and under. Right. So obviously this is our first Cub meeting broadcast. There are going to be teething problems, and there have been teething problems. It's a shame. I could see there were like probably 15 people waiting on the other stream, and now we're down to 6, sadly. But you never know. Some more might turn up in a minute. What we're going to try and do with Cubs for the duration of the drama is try and do something a bit scouty that's going to be a bit different from what you get set with at school. That is going to be something a bit practical, and we're going to try and do different things week after week. So this week is our first experiment. Next week is our pre-Easter experiment. Then we're going to have a couple of weeks of Easter holidays, and then hopefully come back and do this super properly. Okay, so we're going to do a little knot every week. So please, next week, come with your 2 bits of string. Right over left and under, left over right and under. It's the reef knot, the world's most useful knot. Okay, next week we're going to do another one. Bring your 2 pieces of string. So what else can you guys do? First thing, before we go on to scouts and badges and stuff like that, with the current situation, I think it's super important that you guys try and help your community in any way you can. If we look at the Cub Scout law, which I hope you can read, not in mirror format, but in actual genuine format. If it's in mirror format, that's deeply embarrassing and something else techie has gone wrong. But the Cub Scout law says that the Cub Scouts always do their best, think of others before themselves, and do a good turn every day. All right. So in the current situation, I think that's super important. It's really all about what can we do for our local community. So if you Cubs can do something for your local community, It's really important that we try and do that. Yeah, Cub Scouts, think of others before themselves and do a good turn every day. So obviously with your parents or helpers, whoever's looking after you in combination, if you have an elderly next door neighbor and they need someone to go and buy milk for them on a regular basis, maybe that's something you guys could do. Think about it. Just have a chat with your parents, see if there's something that you guys could do to do a good turn every day and think of others before yourselves, as you have promised to do when you said the promise to become a Cub. You promised you would keep the Cub Scout law, and that's what it says, that you're going to think of others before yourselves and try and do a good turn every day. So it would be fantastic if you were able to do that. Right, moving on. Over the next few weeks, where sadly it's going to be quite a few weeks, I fear, before we can meet again, we are going to try and do some stuff to encourage you to do some interesting activities and also to obtain some Cub badges so that we can carry on doing stuff even if we can't meet. It's a little bit cold now for some of the outdoor stuff we have planned, but there's a few outdoor activities that we're hoping to help you do so that those of you lucky enough to have a garden will be able to do some activities outside. We have a load of gear that we can lend you to help do those activities. Talk about them in a couple of weeks a bit more, but for example, we've got a load of little hike tents that we can lend you, and what we'd like to do is get all the Cubs to increase their nights away. We will lend you a hike tent, you take it home, put it up in the garden if you have a garden, perhaps sleep out in it 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, as many nights as you want, and pretty much every night you sleep out in your tent is another Nights Away Star badge for Cubs. I think it's a bit early for that in the season, but maybe by the end of April we can work towards that. This week, however, we are going to encourage you to get a specific Cub Scout badge which builds on stuff we've done at Cubs recently and also is going to be extremely useful. Here is the here's what the badge looks like. Can anyone guess what it is? Anyone guess what it is? Any takers for guessing what this badge is? This is the Home Help Activity Badge. Every Cub could get the Home Help Activity Badge. What we're going to do, I've got a little website that I put together which has the requirements, but I'm going to go through them now anyway. If you can do those things and your parents or whoever looks after you drops me an email saying you've done those things, then I will send you guys a badge. I've ordered a load from the place where we always get the badges. Should arrive in the next couple of days, and any Cub who does the requirements for the Home Help Activity Badge, I will send you the badge. Right, here are the things you've got to do. First thing, plan, cook and serve a simple 1-course meal. Well, we've been doing a lot of cooking at Cubs recently. I think pretty much every Cub could do that because I saw that all of you are pretty good and pretty competent and interested cooks. So plan, cook and serve a simple 1-course meal, obviously with help from your parents. It's not something you want to be doing yourselves, messing around with stoves. Please do not go and mess with stoves and ovens without someone helping you. But I think you could do that. Second activity, wash up afterwards. Show how to clean a saucepan or other cooking utensils, cutlery and glasses. You could use a dishwasher for this step, but that is cheating. Oh, no, it doesn't actually say that here, but it is a little bit. Okay, so plan to cook a meal, wash up, then help sort out the washing, load and unload the washing machine, iron at least 2 items. They could be things like pillowcases, t-shirts or trousers, it says here. Number 5, sew on a button. Hey, we did that at Cubs a couple of weeks ago. Everyone should be able to do that. Number 6, help to clean and tidy a living room. Number 7, clean at least 2 items in your home. They could be things like a basin or kitchen cupboard, silverware or brass even. Okay. Number 8, take sheets, pillow covers and the duvet off a bed and help to put clean ones on. Make your own bed for a week. Okay, those are the requirements of the Home Help Activity Badge. I reckon every one of you guys could get that in the next week. Every one of you. Here's the list of requirements. I'm going to send out an email after this meeting. It's got a link to a little website where I've typed them out, but I reckon you could do that. So if you can do those things, get your parent to send me an email that you've done them. I will send you the Home Help Activity Badge. And you will have done something very, very useful to help around the home when everybody's at home. As I've been saying to young people living around my house, it's not a hotel. Yeah, everybody's got to do their bit. We're all at home together. We all have to do our bit to keep the house going. So if you could do the things for the Home Help Activity Badge, you will have done a great thing to help your parents. So that's the badge we're hoping you could get next week. As I said, when the clocks go forwards and it gets a tiny bit warmer, we've been thinking about some more, I don't know, Scouty type outdoor badges that we can help you get. And that's what we're going to do after Easter. But this one in the short term is something that we think you could do and actually would get you into the vibe of all living together harmoniously in this new environment, and perhaps be a bit different from something that the school is giving you. Right. So that is that. That's the Home Help Activity Badge. It's a good looking badge. Now that we've talked about it, we know, I think this is a brush here, and this is a duster, and this is a needle and thread, which kind of is a visual version of some of the stuff you've got to do for that badge. Right. Okay. Now, I'm not going to fill up 6:30 to 8 o'clock in this first online meeting. I'm afraid I'm nearly done. Maybe next time around, I will get one of the younger and more charismatic young leaders to present this instead of me. It was a bit of a technical trial this evening. Now that I've kind of worked out how it works, we'll try and get some of the younger leaders to present this. I think that'll be a bit more fun for the Cubs. But before we finish, I know you are going to have a lot more time in front of the TV in current weeks, and I'm sure you have your regular programs that you watch, but I am going to recommend two movies for you. Well, they're not movies, they're documentaries, they're factual films. My first recommendation to you is this one, The Dawn Wall. It's an amazing movie about a professional climber, about how he got into climbing when he was young, about the adventures he's had as he became a climber, and about the struggles he's had to try and complete an amazingly difficult climb in Yosemite, California, where there are some amazing multi-day, really hard climbs. The Dawn Wall, it's a documentary about climbing that sounds pretty dull, but actually it's a really, really super program. I highly recommend it to you. I think it's £3 to rent on Amazon, something like that, but it's actually a great film for the whole family. And I've got one more in a similar vein. The Dawn Wall is actually interesting because it talks about when he was a child and how he got into climbing and all that kind of thing. But this one here, which is in a similar vein, Free Solo. It's another climbing film about a guy who climbs in Yosemite, California, and actually he's kind of best buddies with the guy who features in The Dawn Wall. They're all part of a very close-knit gang who do most of their climbing in Yosemite. This guy, Alex Honnold, he did an amazing climb in Yosemite without ropes. Do not do that at home. Do not practice what Alex does at home. If you're going climbing, you need ropes. But Alex is an amazing solo climber, climbed several thousand feet of rock, really hard climb with no ropes. And this movie, Free Solo, is the story of that amazing climb. So those two movies, Free Solo and Dawn Wall, I think are inspirational films that are different from the usual stuff that perhaps young people watch when they're at home. And I highly recommend either of those two to you this coming week. Right, I'm afraid that is pretty much all I have for our first experimental broadcast. We're going to try and develop the tech over coming weeks. Really, we're going to learn from maybe what you do at school and how you do that. We have the same technology in the Scouts, the Google Classroom. We could use all that kind of stuff. So we hope to adopt some more interesting technology. So maybe we could even do kind of mass video conferencing, who knows. But step one is let's kind of do this to keep in contact. Let's see if some of you guys can do that badge over the coming week. And let's see if we can make it work again next week before we go to Easter holidays. My apologies for the somewhat amateur nature of this evening's broadcast. I think we're done now. I wish you all a happy and safe week, and we'll see if we can speak again next week. And I hope to be able to announce that many of you have completed the badge, the home help activity badge. Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.